Hello, how are you? So good to connect with you again. Hearty welcome to our T-Day Tax Talks. I'm Nanda Kumar K V here, and it's such a joy to connect with you again this time, and we thank you for tuning in today for yet another interesting tax topic. Okay, so today we picked up this topic on 8 things to know while transferring your personal home into an LLC. So I'm sure you must be aware of the Iplan Tax Program making waves, and the kind of interest that the people are showing here, because it's always good that you have a tax consultant or a tax advisor with you every month, often than just go meet up with him or connect with him once in a year. Okay, so they say that customer is the king. So if you're a king, I think we should be your ministers, right? I keep saying that always, right? So it's such a joy. Thank you for very much for joining us today, and let's get into this. So it's 8 things to know while transferring your personal home into LLC. So many people have been asking us, given the current pandemic, many people have started their businesses right from home. We have heard the story of WhatsApp, we have heard the story of Uber, how these companies, great epic companies, they got started off during the pandemic or during the recession, I would say, right? So given that, I don't think we should be an exception for that. You should do your very best in pursuing your dream. And if you're trying to make business use of your home, that is a different aspect, but this is like putting your home into an LLC. Now it could be a business use of home, or you may be putting your home into an LLC for real estate tax planning purposes, right? So fine. So here are these 8 things that you must be doing before you transfer your property, your personal home into an LLC. So I'm your host Nanda Kumar K V, and I request you to, as you're watching this video, I request you to please like our Facebook page and subscribe to our YouTube channel also, so that you get live video notifications and all the tax updates. So please stay connected, and as you're watching this, please take a moment to like and share our video. Okay, fine. So let's get started. The first thing that you must be doing is that you should form an LLC. You must be forming an LLC. Okay. Before you choose to put your personal home into an LLC, there has to be an LLC, isn't it? There has to be an LLC first, right? So how do you form an LLC? Decide the state. The first point that you got to know is decide the state in which you want to form this LLC. I mean, many say that it's Delaware is good, or Nevada is good, or Wyoming is good, but the home state where you are based, that's the best state. You must think of forming your LLC, your limited liability company. Okay, so if you need more help or guidance or consultation on what entity is right for you, because often when you choose to start your business, there are so many doubts, or maybe you need so many clarification on what is the right entity for you. So should an LLC be a right entity for you? Is partnership good? Is S Corp good? Is C Corp good? What is the difference between all these different types of entities? Or should I continue to be on my 1099 miscellaneous, to be more apt, right? So what's the best way to get into business, right? So that is a separate topic altogether, but if you need any help on this, on that piece of it, setting up the right business entity for you, I request you to please call our office. You can contact our office, 530 Hi iLead. That's our number, and our team will be more than happy to assist you. And you can also schedule a complimentary consultation with me as part of this show, right? So the first point that you got to see is decide the state where you want to incorporate the business, the limited liability company. And also here, people often confuse the word company with corporation. It's a limited liability company, it's not limited liability corporation. Okay, so both are completely different, because I keep teaching at the academy also. I have to insist on that point, right? The next one, you need to have a EIN, because you are now treated as an employer identification number. So just like how you have a SSN or a ITIN, right, social security number, and ITIN is for those people who do not qualify for SSN, they get ITIN. So similarly, you must have an EIN because now you are an entrepreneur, right? Next, decide whether you want to form a single member LLC or you want to form a multiple member LLC. Okay, what is the difference? What's the difference between the two? Single member, as you see, it is just one person doing it, right? So you yourself. Multiple member, it could be you and your wife, or it could be you and your friend or your colleagues or whosoever. Like a team, a group of people, 2 or more people coming together is also a multiple member LLC, and which is equal to partnership. Okay, and if you see in the single member LLC, they are most tax efficient and there is no double taxation like a C Corp. One of the drawbacks of C Corp is that there is double taxation. The entity pays tax, and also on the dividend distributions, the shareholders also again they pay tax. So that is a drawback. Okay, but when it comes to a single member LLC, it's only you who's going to pay tax. Of course, the self-employment taxes are applicable, but still, that is something we can always figure out, right? And coming to multiple member LLC, when you see the multiple member LLC, they are treated as pass-through entities. They are treated as pass-through entities. Why are they treated as pass-through entities? Because it becomes partnership. Multiple member LLC, 2 or more members coming together, then becomes a partnership. Now, what do you mean by a pass-through entity? It means the entity does not pay any tax, but the partners will be paying tax, right? Fine. And then the operational flexibility also, it is very, very easy because there is no issue of stock, no documentation and all that. So it is very easy to set up an LLC. Okay. So before you put your personal home, before you choose to put your personal home into an LLC, for all the liability protection and all the other aspects, so that you don't get into trouble with the tenant or anybody, you got to decide where you are going to form your LLC, and there are certain compliance aspects as listed here which you need to make sure that you're complied with so that you can get into the other formalities. So the step 1 is forming an LLC. Let's look at step 2. Step 2, it talks about LLC must be the sole owner. The property that we are talking about must be owned solely by the LLC for that personal asset protection. In other words, it cannot be in your name or in the name of you and your LLC. Getting it? There cannot be joint ownership. It cannot be in your name. It has to be in the name of LLC. So if you want, like as it's mentioned there, right? So if you want that full liability protection, you have to transfer your house to your LLC. It cannot be in your name, okay? It must be in the name of LLC, right? So that's the second thing that you may want to know about. Because many people, they are not aware of it, still they keep the property in their name, no registration is done. And again, the tax time, we ask some crazy questions and, right? Okay, fine. Let's take a look at the next one. The third step that you must be doing is contact a real estate title company. Contact a real estate title company. Okay, so why would you do that? Now you're transferring the property from your name into the name of LLC. Okay, so you will need their help on making that transfer deed or warranty deed or quick claim deed, whatever you call, right? And then to compute those closing costs that may be applicable on the sale of property. The closing costs that may be applicable on the sale of property. Just a second, I think this is blocking it. Let me see if I can take this off. Yeah. Okay, I think that's how it is. Anyway, so to compute the closing costs that is applicable on the sale of the property, and then the last one is to estimate the real estate transfer taxes that may be applicable. The real estate transfer taxes, because you are transferring from one state, or one person, from a personal capacity to a business person. So to call it in legal language, it is being transferred from a natural person to a legal person. See, you and I, we are natural persons, but an entity is a legal person. So it's being transferred from a natural person to a legal person. So those real estate taxes may be applicable, which is something you may want to look into. Yeah. Okay, fine. The next one, you got to re-register all the utilities of your home. What do you mean? You got to re-register all the utilities of your home. So earlier you used to get all those utility bills on your name, but now that the property is transferred in the name of LLC, so you have to make sure that even the utility bills come in the name of LLC. So that is a little paperwork you may want to do, because you have to now re-register all those utilities of the home in the name of LLC. If you want to claim it as part of your tax deductions, it's very important that you re-register all those utilities in the name of the LLC. The next step is get your tenants to pay to LLC. Okay, so no longer you are going to receive the payments. The payments will be in the name of LLC. So you must advise and guide your tenants to start writing the checks or make deposits in the name of the LLC bank account, or issue a check in the name of the LLC and no more into your personal account, right? Because it now counts as the LLC income. Sixth step, review your mortgage terms. This is something that many people ignore, which I don't want you to, because you will not after you're talking to us. Anyways, look at terms. So what does it say? Review your mortgage terms. Okay, talk to your lender or banker and check if they have any restrictions on transferring the property from personal name to the name of LLC. Because many times what happens, when you enter into that mortgage, there are certain clauses which we tend to ignore, right? So check, please read your offer document, the policy document carefully before you consider shifting this. Because if it is under mortgage, then maybe you should schedule a call or go meet up with your banker or lender to check if this is permitted or if they have any restrictions towards it, right? And in case they advise for any home refinancing or something like that, then probably you must talk to your trusted tax advisor or a tax attorney, right? So why should you talk to them? Because they are the ones who will advise you on the tax implications on this transfer of property, and also if you qualify for the gain of sale of home exclusion. So normally if you are transferring, there is a gain. Normally, the real estate, obviously the gain accrues, right? Now, when there is a gain, normally for the capital gain exclusion on the sale of home, I'm sure most of you know it, it's up to $250,000 if you are single. Of course, if you are married, then it is $500,000. So that is something you may not want to miss on, right? On the capital gains. So that's the main capital gain exclusion which I don't want you to miss out. So you should make an effort to talk to your trusted tax advisor or an attorney and make sure, while you trust, they are also qualified enough to advise you, and ensure that you are complying with all the rules, regulations that's prescribed by the IRS and the other local laws, right? And then the next one, the last one, is review your insurance policies. Okay, why would you do that? Just like how we told about the banker, we must check, if there are any, I mean, in case there's any legal suit or something, the insurance is something, that will certainly come to your rescue. So you must make sure, that you review your insurance policy terms also properly, so that you add the LLC to the insurance claim in case there are any lawsuits. So these are the 8 points that we put across whenever you are trying to put your personal home, a personal residence, into an LLC. Okay. So that is something, that we don't want you to miss out on. I hope, these 8 points that we have listed here is useful to you, right? And I would encourage you to remember it in this personal. I think, the students from the academic personal, the word personal, it has some 8 letters, right? So we have put 8 situations here, PERSONAL, 8 letters, and we have put 8 situations here so that you don't miss out on these 8 situations. Okay. Having said that, if you need more advice on this, because the tax advice, it differs from person to person. So if you need specific, tailor-based, customized advice for your tax situation, we request you to please contact our office. You see our contact details right there. You also have our number there, right? And our mail address is also listed there. And as you're watching this video, in case you have any questions, thoughts, comments, please comment, and we will be responding to you in no time, right? So you see our email address also mentioned there. You can also write to me on any of those email addresses, or you can write to me, asknanda@ileadtax.com. And the questions and the recognition on Iplan Tax Program is doing very, very well. So thank you very much for spreading the word on Iplan Tax Program also. And for the benefit of the people who are watching us again now, because it's something that we have newly launched and it's making waves, I just want to reiterate the benefits of this. So we call it as Iplan Tax Program. Stop filing yearly, start planning monthly. I mean, you can't go, you can't spend 24 hours in gym on one day and try to build your favorite muscle on your body, right? So that has to be consistent. It has to go every day. Similarly, when you're making a tax planning also, it is not something that you can consider as a one-time event. So this is something, you may want to talk to your tax advisor every now and then. Many people, when we talk about tax thing, they feel that, it is just the tax filing. Hey, no, tax filing comes into picture, only during that Feb to April time. No, the tax planning is something that needs to be done now. Now what comes in this Iplan Tax Program? The best thing is it offers you the tax filing for free, because there's no much work there. Once the planning is done, then the filing is more of a operational activity. So there's no real planning merit that we will be applying there. And many companies who care for their employees have gifted this as a employee benefits program also. And thanks to all those companies who really care for their employees, so that the interested ones can get in touch with us. Okay. So here are these 10 value-added services that we offer. As you see here, you get your 2020 personal tax planning. So I'll tell you in a moment what is personal tax planning. So let me just show you, because many people are not clear, as to what is personal tax planning. They might be clear on the other aspects. So what are the different items that we will be covering on as part of personal tax planning? I mean, many people, they do not even know that these are the things which are there, because it's there. They've come to US, just recently, or maybe their friends never encountered that situation, their colleagues never had that situation, or maybe there was never an opportunity that they discuss something like this. So how will you know about it unless somebody talks to you about it, isn't it? Right? So please take a look at these points. Okay. Now see, it talks about marriage or maternity. Of course, I wanted to put divorce also, but anyways, because what happens is, even the alimony payments in case of divorce, even that has certain calculations, especially in case the alimony is split into, installments. It's paid in installments. It's not paid in lump sum, because we had clients like that also. were subject to divorce and all. So we had to do some planning and then advise them on that. Now here when we talk about marriage or maternity, okay, so this is something that is interesting. So when we are talking about marriage or maternity, marriage, the moment you say marriage, it means that the family is expanding, right? So obviously when it's expanding, especially if you take a standard deduction, it is 12,200, right? Of course for the next year it's 12,400. It will be 24,800. So the moment you are married, it becomes double. Now in India, we are not, we don't do a joint, married filing tax return and all. Like husband and wife, they both work together. They file separately. They don't file jointly. So that is something, that the people are not aware. And not only that, even if the spouse is in India, let us say, right, there is a way. Still you can claim her on your tax return. You can still file a joint return, because many people feel that she is not in US. Okay, so I cannot file a joint return. But there are certain conditions. So if you are somebody who has been in US for at least 6 months, or you are a resident for tax purposes, then she can be treated as a resident along with you, right? There are certain elections that needs to be made, and that goes. And then maternity, yeah, childbearing is a blessing, right? Children are a reward from the Lord. So as the kids are born, those maternity expenses, I mean, somebody comes from India normally, because we deal mostly with the Indians, okay? So mother or mother-in-law, if somebody is traveling for that maternity aid, those expenses also can be claimed. Those maternity expenses can also be claimed. And also as the child is born, you qualify for different child tax credits, right? So in case, you put the baby in a daycare also, there are certain benefits, that you may qualify for, right? And also not only that, even for those couple, who wanted to adopt, there are certain adoption credits, whopping adoption credits, okay? So that's something you may not want to miss out on. And then medical expenses. See, given the current pandemic, people have incurred expenses on medical, right? So you may want to check with us if those medical expenses qualify, right? So that's something you may want to talk to us, any special medical situation or special medical treatment that you have incurred. So we will be happy to clarify you on that. And then the next one is stock options. So many are issued stock options, right? So you should know vesting date, the grant date, exercise date, the sale date. Should I hold it? Should I sell it? So all these things, are important. So you may want to consider with us, because again, when I'm talking about stock options, there are different stock options, right? Like last week we were talking about QSBS, qualifying small business stock. Now what's the tax treatment of that? Then RSU, restricted stock units, and then ISOs, incentive stock options. So all these are the things, that the employers are also doing to retain their employees. And there are certain tax treatments that is involved on these aspects also. So that is something I don't want you to miss out on. And this is not something you can discuss with your tax consultant or your tax advisor or your tax preparer at one time. Hey, here is my W-2, and okay, please plan my taxes. No, I mean, I am not one of them. So I don't recommend, that kind of financial discipline, because it's your hard-earned money, and this is our profession. We teach taxes, we preach taxes, we practice taxes, and we want to plan taxes. We don't want to file taxes. I mean, filing even an online portal would do. I mean, you have stock options. I mean, 100,000, 500,000 or 1 million worth stock options, and that's something you must be talking to your tax advisor. And I'll be happy if it is iLead. And then buying a health insurance plan. Especially if you are buying a high deductible, healthcare plan or something like that, because you qualify for some premium healthcare credits and all. So if you need any consultation on that, we will be happy to provide you as part of iPlan. All this that I'm talking to you now comes as part of iPlan. I've just listed a very few, so that I don't end up educating the other peers in the industry. So I have just listed, a very, very few. Maybe whatever I have put is just 10% of what we may be actually talking to you, okay? And then The next one you see, the NRE or NRO accounts. So there are many clients, who have invested. I mean, 4 in every 5 Indians, I would say, right? So the clients that we deal with, they have money in NRE or NRO accounts. Now, what is the tax treatment of that? So just because it is exempt, some of interest is exempt in India, is it also exempt in the US? No. No. And is that part of FBAR reporting? Yes. Fine. The next one, you see, the net pay planning through W4. Okay, what is that? See, many people end up giving a interest-free loan to IRS just because they have not planned their withholdings properly. Your state withholdings, your local withholdings, your federal withholdings, it all depends on the information that you are giving to the employer through this W4. So if that information was right, maybe you will have more net pay. So maybe, if there is no special wing in your company who can help you optimize your W4, who can help you optimize your withholdings, then maybe, you should get in touch with us. Our team will be more than happy to do that because we have enrolled agents, right? Next, multi-state tax planning, right? So there are many people, who may be working on deputation on, different projects. Most of the people being in IT, they may be working in different client projects. I mean, husband and wife may be elsewhere, and they may be in different states, or they might have been in some state for some part of the year, and then move to a state which is subject to city taxes or local taxes, I mean, the county taxes. So these are certain things, that we may want to advise. So especially if you are somebody who is living in Kentucky, Michigan, New York, Ohio, Pennsylvania, you may be subject to the city taxes, right? And again, if you are somebody living in Iowa and then Maryland and Idaho and all, so you may be subject to Iowa, Indiana, and Maryland. You may be subject to county taxes also. So that is something, I want you to be mindful of. If this is your first time to US, maybe you have not been told about this, but if you can have a consultant who will be with you, any important financial decision you take, he will be with you. He will advise, what it is needed, and it doesn't cost you even the cost of Netflix, right? Right. And then IRA or 401k distribution planning. So given the current, economic crisis, many people are trying to, withdraw money from 401k, right, their IRA savings and all that, and government has also, as part of this COVID-19, there are certain relaxed rules on the limits, increased limits on the amount that you can withdraw and all. So that is something, you may not want to miss out on. If you're really planning to make some withdrawals on from your IRA or 401k, you should get in touch with us, right? And then if you're considering investment in health savings account or education savings account or flexible spending account, health savings account is a adjustment to income again, right? It's an adjustment to income, health savings account. And then education savings account, it's something for your kids, I mean for you yourself and for your dependents also. So it's related to education. And then flexible spending account, it's a pre-tax contribution which you can do at your workplace. Any pre-tax contribution, just like FSA or your 401k, all these are good because it's all pre-tax contribution. So if you can work with your employer, there's a way, how you can reduce your taxes if it is permissible, right? And then you have 529 plan for kids. That is again, an amazing. Of course, you don't get any tax deduction for it, but if you just start putting, at least $500 every month, for your Chintu, Bunty, Bubbly and all, by the time, they grow up mature, you do not know, how much wealth you would have accumulated for them. I mean, every dollar counts, isn't it? So I'm not asking you to save money. I'm not one of them. I want you to invest that money. I want you to invest that money, right? Okay, next one. Should you be on W2 or 1099? Right? If you're a green card holder or if you're a citizen, you being on 1099 or forming an S corp and all, it may be good for you, right? So if you can talk to us, if we can understand your situation. See, I'm not against this online filing things, okay? That's personally your choice. But my personal opinion of being in the industry, so long, I feel that you must be in touch with your tax consultant. I mean, tax filing should be more of a formality, but the real functionality should be planning. If you can, put some thoughts into this, it will be really good for you. I mean, more than filing, your focus should be on planning. And for our people, especially, Indians in the USA, you have to consider the tax implications in both the countries. If you still have, some income coming up from India, the tax implications in both the countries are important. And you will need people like us who can advise you better on that, because we cover the tax laws in both USA and in India. Okay, the next one that we talk about is sale of property in India or US. Oh, we have got so many cases, just between March to July. I think we have got good number of cases, wherein they have sold the property, right? And then they have struggled bringing that money from India to USA, and then from USA to India, right? What are the tax implications? What are the IRS norms? What are the RBI norms, right? So that's something, you may want to talk to us, right? So in case you have sold the property or something like that, so you may want to talk to us. And the tax implication, as I just said, sending the money from India to US and then USA to India, I've made a video on that also. Please, as you're watching this video, please do like and subscribe, share it, right? So that your friends may also be benefited. And then gift tax implications in both countries, right? This also I have spoken in the past, right? You can just go check out my video on tax implication of sending money. I have spoken about the gift tax implications also there. And then kids income, unearned income, right? You have invested money into your kids, or kids have some special gifts, right? Special talents, they make some extra money for you. Now, is it something that you must club in your tax return, or is it something that must be shown separately? Should it be shown separately, right? So that is something, and I think I have made a video on that also, right? How is the income of minor kids taxable? So please go check out our video section, right? In YouTube or Facebook, you will find it. And then foreign income exclusion or foreign tax credit. So for those of you, especially because we work with Infosys, we have seen that, the foreign income certificate, they get that foreign income certificate, they have income from India also. Yeah, we see that with Wipro too, and a little bit with HCL. I mean, there are many. With Infosys, it's highest. So we see that, they have foreign income. Now, how do we compute that foreign tax credit, right? And also in some other cases also we have seen US citizens, okay, or green card holders or nationals working outside of USA, right? Now they qualify for foreign earned income exclusion. Now what is that, right? So the income itself is excluded up to a particular limit. So you may want to, schedule a call with us to understand how much of your income might be excluded. And then not to forget FBAR or FATCA compliance. FBAR has screwed up many, so that is something you may not want to miss out on. Foreign bank accounting report, ignorance is no longer a bliss, right? And it's no longer a valid reason for excluding also. So foreign bank accounting report is something you may not want to miss out on. And then FATCA, Foreign Account Tax Compliance Act, right, Form 8938. So in case you have outside of US more than 75,000 if you are single, and married more than 150,000, and in special cases if you have more than $50,000, right? So all those things count. So there are certain threshold limits based on the filing status on the last day of the tax year. Okay, so that is something you may not want to miss out on. And then ITIN application. So many are also not aware, that they can claim their kids also, because landing into US, getting, putting things together and taking care of our household activities and the work itself is a great thing. So they do not know that they have to apply for ITIN and all, right? So unless you talk to a tax consultant who can tell you, that your kid also qualifies for the credit, right? Of course, he doesn't get the $2,000 child tax credit, but still, he at least gets a $500 other dependent credit, right? Which you should not be missing out, assuming the kid was in US for more than 6 months and you supported him. And then on the estate tax planning also, if you need any consultation on that, if you are looking at forming any ILETs, ILITs, so a living trust, if you are looking for any information or assistance on forming living trust and all, that is something we may put you in touch with our other team, the wills estate planning team, and they will be happy to guide you on that. And then I have just discussed this using the personal home for LLC. I think I've just told you about it. And then self-directed IRA investment. So most of you are doing it already. Thank you very much for that. So how your IRA can be a very wonderful tax saving instrument for you, and how some of them have invested that IRA into real estate, of course in India also, and how they are getting benefited out of it, right? And then setting up a new business entity. So everybody at some point they want to do something on their own, and when you say you want to do something on your own, it means you want to become an entrepreneur, right? Especially if you are in service industry. So when you want to do something on your own, should you be doing it as the independent contractor, or as an LLC, or as partnership, or S corp, or C corp? So that is something you may want to look into, right? So what is the right entity for you, considering your marital status, your economic status, the state that you are living in, which place? I mean, there are so many aspects that you need to look into when you're setting up a business, and that is something you may be the right persons to deal with, right? And then next one, forming a trust or a non-profit organization or a tax-exempt organization. Given the current pandemic, I've seen, and I greatly appreciate all such wonderful souls who have helped for the crisis, the current crisis that is going on, through their own associations or organizations and all. If you can do it in a proper way, there are certain tax benefits also that you may be qualifying for, and it will last, and it will not be a one-time emotional event, but it will be a lifetime habit of serving others. So that is something you may want to talk to us. And many more A, B, C, D, E. Okay. What do I mean by A, B, C, D? A, B, C, D, I meant adjustments, benefits, credits, deductions, and then exemptions, exclusions and all, right? So these are the things, these are just, as I said, these are just 10% of what we actually cover in our Iplan Tax Program. So I don't want you to miss out on this. You get your personal tax filing for free, you get your tax planning for free, then FBAR, FATCA, ITIN, and last 3 years of free tax return evaluation, Indian tax filing. So all these things, and last one is the error-free tax representation guarantee. So all these comes as part of the Iplan Tax Program. These 10 valuable services you're getting for a cost, or an investment rather, which is less than the expense on your monthly Netflix subscription. I mean, if you have to get a premium version, you pay $15. Okay, so this is just $10, and these are the 10 value-added services that we are offering as part of this. Because of the current situation, we are offering that at a discounted pricing. So if you're somebody who has watched this video and you want to get in touch with us, please refer to this video and to this conversation, and you will be offered this special price of $10, right? And so these are the services that some of the planning services that you will be guided on as part of your conversation or your engagement in the Iplan Tax Program. And then if you have not watched this video, I would encourage you to watch this video, because this is a video that talks about, I said 7 things, but there are 70 things in this, more than 70 things in this. So to know, while filing your Form 1040, what are the different things that you must be working on. So this has become very popular on Facebook and all. So I encourage you to make an effort to watch this video along with at least 3 friends, so that you check where you missed. And if you feel you have missed anything, remember that you have 3 years to go back and correct that mistake. Yes, you can still get that adjustment, still get the tax benefit, still get the tax credit, still get the tax deduction, still get the tax exemption and the tax exclusion. Okay, so if you feel after watching that video, okay, you missed out on something, even now as I'm talking to you, you feel that you missed something last year or in one of those years, you can go back up to last 3 years and you can amend those returns for this additional benefit. Okay, so thank you very much for joining us today. It was really great talking to you. I encourage you to look at this disclaimer once, because the situations differ from person to person. And if you found this video useful, if it is informative, I encourage you to please like, share and subscribe to our video, to our channel also. Okay, and we call it as TDA Tax Talks, and I come live every Tuesday or on Thursday. So we call it as TDA Tax Talks. So this is something that we do. So I request you to please have the hit the like button and the subscribe button, so that you get the live video notifications and the tax updates. So I look forward to talking to you. If you need more customized tax solution, I would encourage you to please write to us. You have our contact details right there, right? I file at iLeadTax.com, and you can also text us 530-444-5323. I myself would be talking to you, or our team of enrolled agents will be talking to you, understand your tax situation and then recommend what is absolutely right for you. Yeah, thank you very much for joining us today. It was really nice talking to you, and I'll see you next week on yet another interesting topic. Take care. Bye-bye.